Boston has life. The Heat were in game 4. They were all the way up at minus 300 money line odds in game 4 when they had the lead in the third quarter, but Boston was able to pull it off. And what I'm going to be doing is taking you through a little betting preview for game 5. Can Boston do the impossible and come back from a 3-0 deficit? You're going to see if you just look at Caesars Sportsbook, the Heat are only minus 275 to win this series on Caesars Sportsbook. So regardless, the market has no respect for the Heat in Game 5 back in Boston. So obviously, the Miami Heat won the first 2 games in Boston, but you can see lines opened around, so you can pull up a line movement chart on OddsJam. This OddsJam algo odds column, it just takes a weighted average of all the different sportsbooks in the market. And you're going to see the Heat opened around plus 265, and lines have been slightly drifting towards the Heat, so a little more respect. And you can see they're now roughly an average price of plus 258. So they're pretty big dogs on the point spread, plus 8 on most sports books. So before we dive into some early picks that you may want to go with, a couple things to note, right? The first thing is, always get the best possible odds. I know this is very basic to some people, but OddsJam has free odds, right? You can browse odds for literally every sport from hundreds of sports books. It's completely free to browse odds on OddsJam. And as a sharp bettor, you always need to get the best possible odds, right? So if you want to bet on the Heat, you should be taking them plus 260 money line on FanDuel, right? If you're placing bets for game 5 on the Heat plus 240, when they're best offered at plus 260 on FanDuel, you're just getting ripped off, right? You're getting a horrible price, and you're not going to make money sports betting. I mean, line shopping, browsing odds, ensuring you're always getting the best possible price. This is sports betting 101, right? If you're placing bets on the Heat at, let's say, plus 230, so you can see Bet Online, which is a pretty sharp sports book, they've ripped odds on the Heat down. They opened around plus 250 for game 5. They're all the way down at plus 230. So early action is clearly coming in on the Heat. They opened as a little bit too big of underdogs. But again, this is pretty rational. But if you're placing bets on the Heat money line at plus 230 on Bet Online, when there's another sports book, FanDuel, offering plus 260, you're getting ripped off. You're never going to make money, right? And just like being an investor or being a day trader, if you're getting ripped off, you have to pay 20% more for everything, which is essentially what you're doing sports betting, placing bets at plus 240. If there's other books offering plus 260, you won't stand a chance at making money. And the same thing goes for betting on point spreads, right? If you want to take the Celtics spread, you should be betting their spread right here, right? Or on Caesars. If you only have Caesars and let's say FanDuel, you absolutely should be betting the Celtics minus 7.5 as opposed to minus 8 on FanDuel. If the Celtics win game 5 by exactly 8 points, betting on Caesars minus 7.5, it's the exact same odds, you'd win your bet. On FanDuel, you're going to push. So these differences, right, they may seem small, but in sports betting, you're not going to win every single bet. Finding value in the market, getting those extra half points of value in the spread, line shopping, getting 30 cents better in the money line odds. This is how you make money sports betting, right? You hunt for value, you hunt for inefficiencies, and if you're betting on the Heat plus 7.5 at minus 110, when there's other books offering plus 8 at minus 110, the exact same odds. Some books are even offering plus 8.5 at minus 110. Then you're getting ripped off. You're not going to make money sports betting, right? Sports betting is all about hunting through the market, finding an edge, finding value. And then finally, you can see the total is set at 215, 215.5 on some books, but around 215. So anyways, what we can do is we can go through some early bets. And also, this is pretty crazy to me, but you can see sportsbooks have already started to post player prop lines, literally right after game 4 ended. Sportsbooks began to post player prop odds, for game 5. So you can see all of them available on OddsJam. Same exact concept, right? Always get the best possible line. If you want to bet on Bam over 17.5 points, you got to be placing your bet on FanDuel. They opened their line at minus 104, Caesars at minus 121. Right? You're never going to make money sports betting if you're betting Bam's over at minus 121 when there's tons of books offering a better price. You're quite simply getting ripped off. Now, anyways, some early picks we can kind of discuss. from the OddsJam positive EV tool. So this tool is pretty simple, right? It literally just shows you. So I have 194 sportsbooks pulled up. Books are just starting to, release player or lines for game 5. And what you're going to notice is I just selected the game I want to look at, the Heat game. So there is a profitable bet on XBet. This isn't a sportsbook I use. Maybe you use it. I'm honestly not so sure about it. But what you're going to notice is, again, they're giving you the point spread at plus 8.5. So if we go back to the point spread, you're going to notice like, whoa, most sportsbooks have the spread set at 8 or 7.5. That's kind of the market consensus. So getting that extra full point of value, the extra half point of value is enough to make this bet profitable, right? We found value. We found an edge. I've explained this before, but when you're betting at minus 110 odds, which is the typical, if you look at a game for point spreads for totals, the typical juice that sportsbooks charge on the over, the under is minus 110, minus 110. They force you to bet 11 to win back 10 in profit, right? So Caesars is saying, yo, you want to bet on the Heat spread, the Celtics spread, you got to bet 11 to win back 10. That's not a fair trade, right? A fair trade would be bet 10 to win back 10 on either side of the market. So sportsbooks bake in that spread. They force you to bet $11 to win back 10. That's called the vig or the juice in sports betting. But anyways, this juice, right, when you're betting at minus 110 odds, so you can just pull up, it's called an odds converter calculator. So what this calculator tells you is, hey, when you're betting at minus 110 odds, which again is the typical juice on sportsbooks for spreads and totals, all you have to do to be profitable, you don't have to win every bet, right? All you have to do to make money betting on point spreads in the NBA or totals, anything at minus 110 juice, so same thing goes for betting on the NFL, is you need to win 52.38% of your picks, right? If you can win your point spreads 54% of the time, you're a very sharp bettor. You can win 54% of your spreads at minus 110, only losing 46%. You're going to be super profitable. The thing is most bettors, they don't have an edge. They don't have an advantage. So they're only able to win at minus 110 odds 50% of the time. So 50% of the time, they're losing $11. The other 50% of the time, they're winning back 10 when they win the point spread bet. So if you're going 50-50 on your spread bets, you're going to get destroyed, right? But all you have to do to make money betting on spreads in the NBA or NFL or totals is win 52.38% of your bets, right? So getting this extra half point of value, full point of value to the market on XBet, getting the Heat plus 8.5 at minus 110, which honestly seems like a great betting opportunity. That's how you increase the win rate for your point spread wagers from 50% to, 54%, 55%, is all of the books are saying, the market is saying, we have tons of data points. Every sportsbook posting odds is a data point on where the line should be set. And books are saying, yo, most of us think this line should be at 7.5 or 8, right? So XBet was the only sportsbook. So we can actually just go back to NBA odds, right? So you can take a look at any market you want. Again, any market, you want to look at, completely free to browse odds on OddsJam. So you're going to see, well, now it looks like, they may have moved their outline. I'm not sure. But regardless, the point is, if you were able to get this at plus 8.5, very clear value. You're getting a full point, half a point of value to some sports books, a full point of value to Caesars, right? They have the spread at 7.5. That's how you make money sports betting. You find an edge, right? You find books asleep at the wheel. All these books try to set lines independently. So you find spots where they're slipping up, right, and giving you a half point, a full point of value. So this is the first play that was identified on the OddsJam positive EV betting tool. So again, you may use XBet, you may not, but I've explained this before. The more books you have, the better. So another profitable bet is on FanDuel. So FanDuel is obviously a more popular sportsbook. I've never heard of XBet, but you're going to see right here, Heat moneyline is plus 260 on FanDuel. This is the play we just went through. You're going to see the sharpest sports books, Bet Online, a really sharp sports book. They're all the way down at plus 230. They've ripped odds on the Heat from plus 250 to plus 230, which indicates to you all of the early actions coming in on the Heat. If you take a look at another sharp sports book, such as, you can kind of take an average price from the market, it's plus 248. So FanDuel plus 260 would be a great play for the Heat game. right? So I don't have either of these sports books in my location, but those are some examples of profitable bets you may want to go with. And of course, there's also value in the MLB. I'm not just saying only bet on the NBA, only bet on the popular games. Honestly, sports like baseball, less watched sports, are also less watched by the sports books. So there's oftentimes a lot more betting opportunities, and there's tons of MLB games, as you can see. So there's tons of MLB plays. Most of these plays are MLB or soccer plays. So again, as a sharp bettor, you shouldn't really care, right? You're getting Matt Olson over 1.5 bases at plus 115 on FanDuel. No other book is even giving you plus money. Caesars has this minus 117, DraftKings minus 110, Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world, minus 112. Really clear value on FanDuel at plus 115, super profitable bet, 5.69%. So hopefully, kind of breaking down early line movements, a little bit of movement towards the Heat, but in general, Heat are big underdogs, getting no respect in the market in Game 5. Should be interesting. So let's get to it.